These are the 18-inch wheels and Michelin tires that come on every GR86 premium model. In my opinion, the stock wheels for the GR86 and BRZ are only good for when it's raining. They're too heavy and narrow for performance driving. Toyota and Subaru also cheaped out as well, as these wheels are made in China. When you get a GR86 brand new, the window sticker states that only 90% of the car is made in Japan. It should be 100%. I'm going to be raising that percentage by getting proper wheels and tires. But first I need to take the 86 to Werks to get paint protection film. There's Vince and his boys.
Got no pants on.
Vincent's a damn good PPF installer, but he's an even better father. The day I dropped the car off, Vince had a bunch of blue cars, which was pretty cool. These are his pics that he shared. It was all coincidence, as his customers at the time must have really liked blue, and I just added to the list. I first went to Werks years back when I got work done on the S2000. They're the only shop I would go to when it comes to detailing a car. This particular S2K is Vince's personal ride and wrapped in a sweet satin blue. There's even more of Vince's footage of the cars at the very end of this video. Meanwhile, back at the shop, I got busy prepping the new wheels for the GR86. These, ladies and gentlemen, are the WedsSport TC105X. WedsSport makes awesome wheels, and I've always been a fan since their TC105Ns. The TC105X's are the updated versions, and they're a quality wheel made in Japan. They have a thinner but more durable paint coating called EJ Titan, extensive side cuts to decrease weight, and the distinctive end frame spokes for greater rigidity. Although it's a cast wheel, the advanced metal forming process makes it strong. The wheels have a knurled bead to reduce tire slip, and a conical barrel shape that provides additional space for big brake kits. Behind the wheel is a wider back pad to increase hub contact for even more rigidity, and spoke cuts to lessen weight. These wheels are specifically for the GR86 BRZ twins, size 17x9 plus 46 offset. The authentic seal shows that they're legit. Big thanks to Taz at Weds Wheels North America for giving us all the info. And to Matt at Speed Freaks USA for making sure our order went smoothly. I also got a set of new rubber. These are super sticky Yokohama AO 52s, size 255/40/17s. Only extreme summer compounds for my rides. At the time, these were a bit tricky to find as almost no one had them. I got lucky and was able to score a set for a decent price. Funny thing is that these tires aren't for the GR86 but rather the S2K CR. The tire pressure monitoring system sensors on the CR had died, and I needed to replace them. The S2K was running some older Bridgestone RE71Rs, which will get swapped out and mounted on the GR86 instead. Here you see a good shot of the Bridgestones while I temporarily switch out to the CR stock wheels and tires. TPMS is by far the dumbest feature on modern cars. You don't need it, you never wanted them, yet they're forced upon you by the government. Kind of like the COVID vaccine. S2K lug nuts get torqued to 80 foot-pounds. Wheels are stacked, ready to go to the tire shop. When tires have wheels mounted, they can be stacked on their side. When they're loose, they need to be stood up vertically. All of these wheels and tires are going to look awesome once they finally get mounted. I still needed to deal with a TPMS for the GR86, and this is all the hardware that's involved. Did I mention how much I despise these stupid things? These are the TPMS sensors I used. They're the factory sensors on the GR86. They're part number PMVE000. The only issue is they come with these rubber stems that are too thick for the aftermarket wheel's valve stem hole. You have to get an aluminum stem such as this. The ones I got are from Dill, part number VS312. Simply remove the rubber stem and install the aluminum one. You'll need a Torx T10 bit and torque to 12 inch-pounds. The aluminum stem has threads that allow the nut to screw on. For that, you'll need an 11mm socket. Torque the nut to 35 inch-pounds. The wheels also come with their own valve stem if you don't need TPMS. I also got some hub rings from eBay, as the wheel bore of 65mm and the hub size of 56.1mm are way off. At nearly 9mm difference, the hub rings are needed to fill up a large void. Meanwhile, at Omega Werks, Vince was making forward progress on the GR86's paint protection film. Here are all the update pics that he sent me. Since this was his first GR86, Vince said the front bumper was a little tricky to figure out. I told him to take his time, not to rush, and he did his very best to make the PPF look seamless. I learn so much every time I go to Omega Werks. Not just about cars, but about life, as Vince has all these cool stories, and he never hesitates to give me advice. It's always a pleasure chatting up with him, and you couldn't find a better person to work on your project. He even wrapped the front badges. Vince is extremely meticulous with his work. So much that he even gets $1 million Paganis in his shop. It's crazy that this Huayra's hardtop cost more than my entire car. Air bubbles had formed on the mirror caps, so he redid them until they came out looking clean. It's Vincent putting the finishing touches on the GR86. Looks great. The front end was wrapped in Suntech PPF. Then the entire car was coated several layers in Ceramic Pro, even all the glass, and while I removed the windshield wipers. Vincent explained the gold package I got included the wheels, and he told me to bring them back once they were mounted. It was amazing to get the car back in the shop. The wait was definitely worth it. Since the GR86 was still brand new, I wanted to keep its paint as pristine as possible. Spending the money on a PPF and ceramic coat will help keep it that way. The car gets this cool badge to show it's covered in Ceramic Pro. I reinstalled the Racetech seat, as the stock one made it easier for Vince to move the car around. Eventually the day came for my appointment with the tire shop, and I loaded everything up. I took both sets of wheels and tires to Auto Innovations. They're the only place I go to for tire mounting, as they take the time and care not to damage your stuff. Auto Innovations also does custom alignments, and I've been taking my S2K here for years. These are the S2000 wheels with its tires about to get dismounted. And here's the TC105X on the tire changer. Orlando, the owner, was able to help me out himself. Here he is making sure of the tire orientation, as the Bridgestones are directional. Working his magic. So if you want perfect tire mounting and undamaged wheels, be sure to bring them here. This is the TC105X mated to the Bridgestone. With all the tires and wheels mounted, I stacked them up. If you look closely, you can see the Yokohamas are slightly wider than the Bridgestones. I then took the TC105X's back to Omega Werks to get ceramic coated. Meanwhile, I mounted the wheels back onto the S2000. My little helper even gave me a hand.
Oh.
I returned to Omega Works when the wheels were finished. I left them there for a couple of weeks so they would fully cure, and just in time for the GR86's inspection. Ian sprayed the car down and took the time to teach me how to wash it properly. He had a bunch of techniques to maintain the car's finish. Once dried, it was looking clean. I then loaded all the wheels and tires into the trunk. Vincent and Ian truly took care of my car. They're super professional and easy to work with. These guys really are the very best at what they do. It's amazing that you can still afford track tires in the back of one of these cars. Extremely convenient. Could probably fit a couple of bodies as well. At this point, I was just grateful for getting the wheels mounted. I had foolishly bought them before I even had the car. For an entire year, I had a set of wheels with no car to mount them on. How these GR86s were allocated to which dealerships was really luck of the draw. I'm just glad everything worked out. The GR86 lug nuts get torqued to 89 foot-pounds. Then I had to program the sensors with my TPMS tool. You have to scan the sensors in a certain sequence so that it matches up on the dash. Luckily, this older VT55 tool was able to work. The TPMS light turning off on the dash means everything works properly. With the car sitting on the wheels and tires, it definitely needs a drop. I'll work on that on a future video, but for now, here are the TC105X's on a GR86. As you can see, the hub ring fills in the gap quite nicely. Time to go for a test drive. My little brother Alvin and I decided to go for a quick spin. He has an awesome Grand Prix white S2000. Coincidentally, he runs the same exact TC105X's as well. The next day we went to a mini meet in Walnut Creek. I need to drop the car and get in alignment, but the poke is pretty much spot on. Big thanks to my brothers Alex and Elvin for coming and hanging out. And also to John for bringing out his awesome BRZ. I absolutely love these wheels, definitely worth all the trouble. And the more I drive the GR86, the more I grow fonder of it every day. It's getting harder and harder for me to figure out which is my favorite 4-cylinder. Maybe in the future I'll make a video on that topic. Until then, that's it for us. We're Rallis Productions. Catch you guys later.
Come here, Tyler. Careful, careful. Stay here, stay. Stay here, stay. Let me help Daddy, okay.